So once you've got, I'll call it a proof of concept, so you've got, I mean, Eric Ries would call it a minimum viable product or a prototype or something that's sort of, what happens next? Because that's where I see so many companies, they get to that stage and then it's like, they hit a wall. They just never take it beyond there.
I think the outcomes of the ones that I've had are across the board. There are some that are like, oh my God, you cracked this building block. That's exactly what is holding us back. And so we're going to take and run with this.
Does it go into a BU though, or does it go into some kind of incubator or?
It'll go into a BU. It will actually go into a BU. And truth be told, in many cases, I pick things which I think my BU could implement.
Okay.
Because that is, but if they're bigger, sort of impact, because industrial tapes and industrial adhesives and industrial solutions can go into other areas as well. And when you work with enough people who have the ability to implement that in other areas, like your corporate partners, your corporate lab folks that I work closely with, then you know that it'll go into a different area, but I can at least commercialize it in mine. And then we have had all the way to the other end of the spectrum hit the wall, where people are like, this is a great idea. It's great that you have cracked this and made this prototype, but this is not part of our strategy of where we're going because we're focusing on X, Y, Z. Or we can't do this right now because we really don't have the resources or bandwidth to follow through on this. Or this is something that is not a strategic area at all for us. And the need that you have specified, Jayshree, and the trend that you are saying is going to happen in the scenario that you're developed, frankly, we're not bought into it. They won't say that, but I can see that in their faces. My answer is always the same. We have developed a technology building block. It may not be something that will be useful for now for us, but somewhere somebody will use it. And I have to tell you that every single thing that we have done has had such an outcome. So, starting from the very first product success I had to the most recent one, they were all not designed for where they ended up being. So the way I think about it is in order to move mountains, you have to move the needle. Are you moving the needle? So the way we talk about that, instead of, oh my gosh, it went nowhere, I never say that. I'm like, my gosh, it's such a success because we solved this problem, we filed this patent, and now when they're ready to go, they can just pick this up and go with it. So sometimes it's just the stories we tell, and the stories we tell ourselves and the stories we tell others. And I think it's very important to point out because then people start talking like that. Oh yeah, this technology building block. Because if you ask people and you say, how were you able to do this? Well, it's because this was already ready. Who made it ready? Right? So it's very easy to focus on the organs. This is my latest thing that I've been telling a lot of people. It's easy to focus on the organs, but you miss sometimes the circulatory system, the nervous system, all these systems that are upholding these organs. Think about them. Think about them a little bit, how important they are, because they'll erode, they'll atrophy, and you don't want that. You want your people to have still everything that it takes to uphold these organs that you're so focused with your metrics on. So I would say across the board, and it's a good thing. That means we are pushing the paradigm, we're looking at things, we're trying out different things, but we have had some that have been very successful.